This garden fork has earned praise from ergonomics experts for helping people dig with better posture. Some tools don't just help you work, they change how the work feels. This one does exactly that. It's a small, solid bit of kit, just fewer than 10 centimeters long and weighing a little over 2 pounds. It clips onto most standard garden forks or spades with shaft diameters up to 3.8 centimeters. There's a clamp, a pedal, and a simple mechanism that multiplies the force you put in. You don't have to bend and wrestle with the ground. You just step down and press. The tool does the rest, letting you work while standing upright. That means less backache and far less effort, especially if you're doing a lot of digging. It's not built for heavy-duty jobs like tearing through roots or breaking up packed turf, but for everyday garden work, loosening soil, turning beds, weeding, or prepping an allotment. It's especially helpful if bending is difficult, whether because of arthritis or just years of hard work catching up. Fitting it is quick. Clamp it to your fork or spade, hook the pedal into place, tighten a couple of grippers, and you're ready. It comes off just as easily when you're done. The cost is approximately $41. Some tools earn their place by simply doing the job right, and the SP60 is one of them. It's a toed spreader that doesn't ask for much, but delivers plenty. At about 16 kilograms empty and just under 1 meter in length, it's compact enough to handle, but strong enough to pull its weight, and it's built to tow safely at up to 5 kilometers per hour. Hookup is simple, just a pin-style hitch that connects easily to most ALKO tractors. Spreading is controlled by a manual lever that adjusts how wide the hopper opens, somewhere between 5 and 30 millimeters. That means you can fine-tune how much material comes out, whether you're laying down fertilizer, grass seed, lime, sand, or grit. The spreading width typically ranges from 2 to 5 meters, though in perfect conditions it might reach 8. One of the biggest pluses is the hopper size. With 56 liters to work with, you don't need to stop and refill constantly. It's steady over bumpy ground and works well whether you're tackling summer lawn care or spreading grit on frozen paths in winter. Made in Germany, it usually sells for around $290. The next feature is a misting system, a valuable aid for both farmers and gardeners. It was designed in Australia, a country where long droughts are frequent and temperatures can rise as high as 53 degrees Celsius. This type of kit delivers fine water spray that not only irrigates crops, but also cools the surrounding air, giving plants a better chance of thriving. When installed correctly, the system can lower the temperature by around 10 degrees Celsius, according to the producer's data. It cools the air by turning water into a super fine mist using 7 millimeters high pressure tubing and 2 kinds of connectors. One type locks the tubing in place permanently, while the other snaps on and off easily, making it simple to adjust the setup. Brass nozzles spray tiny droplets that evaporate quickly in dry heat, which helps bring down the temperature around patios, decks, and garden areas. The larger version includes a timer that lets you control how often the mist runs. Expansion kits are available if more coverage is needed. The system works best when the nozzles are spaced about 60 centimeters to 1 meter apart. This creates an even mist without soaking everything nearby. The tubing is easy to cut and connect. Just push it into place until it clicks or fits snugly, depending on the type of fitting you use. Before you start, it's a good idea to flush the system without the nozzles for a few minutes to clear out anything that might clog them. Routine care, like cleaning the filter and nozzles, keeps it running smoothly. If you're using a timer, you can adjust the spray time depending on how hot or humid it is. To help the tubing last longer, try to keep it out of direct sun. Prices start at $25. 1 motor, 3 saws. That's the simple idea behind this cutting system. It starts with a central base unit that holds the essentials: a battery-powered motor, trigger, safety lock, anti-slip grip, and an LED work light. The battery lasts up to 10 hours on a single charge and can be swapped out when needed. From there, 3 different saw heads snap on and off depending on the task. The chainsaw attachment has an 8-inch blade that fits easily into tight spots, making it useful for trimming small branches or getting into corners. The circular saw can take on wood, metal, concrete, or plastic, whatever blades you put on it. And the reciprocating saw is ready to cut through drywall, fiberglass, and wood. And the best part, switching between them takes just a few seconds. Instead of owning 3 different saws, you're working with 1 base and 3 heads. That's less to store, less to charge, and fewer things to keep track of. And the LED light is a small touch that makes a big difference when you're working late or in dark corners. It's also worth mentioning that this setup avoids the need for fuel or cords. The project first showed up on Kickstarter, where you will get the full kit, base unit, all 3 saws and 2 batteries for $420. Terrateck Paper Pot is a system designed to make transplanting faster, especially for small farms or growers working on tight schedules. This system gets straight to the point with its key components: biodegradable paper chain pots, each 31 millimeters deep, available with different spacing options, 5, 10, or 15 centimeters depending on the crop. They come in rolls of 14 or 27 meters, stored flat but unfolding into long chains of connected cells. Once in the ground, the paper breaks down naturally, so there's nothing left to remove after planting. The heart of the setup is the Paper Pot Transplanter, a steel tool developed in France. It's simple but effective. 1 person walks backward with it, and the tool does the rest. Opens a groove in the soil, feeds the paper chain with seedlings into place, and closes the soil over them. The blades and wheels can be adjusted depending on the soil type, and the entire process runs smoothly if the seedlings are strong and upright. The paper pots themselves meet organic certification standards in the US. For seeding, there's the Paper Pot Seeder, measuring 73 by 41 by 7 centimeters. It's made for 264 cell chains. Extra tools like dibble boards, tray brushes, ridgers, and vacuum seeders help streamline prep even more. When everything lines up, healthy seedlings, decent soil, and the right crop, the system can plant a full tray in just minutes. That's a huge time saver, but it's not perfect. It doesn't handle rocky or heavy soil well, isn't ideal for every type of plant, and the upfront cost is high. The kit costs about $1,245, and you'll have to pay about $4 for a single chain. Dealing with garden hoses usually means fighting with tangled lines or constantly switching attachments. This connector manages to take a lot of that hassle out of the equation. It gives you 3 simple water settings: hose, stream, and shower, that you can switch between in seconds. Whether you're rinsing off vegetables, watering the plants, or filling a bucket, it adapts quickly. It connects using a standard hose thread, and you don't need tools to attach it. Just screw it on and go. What really make it feel easier to use are the built-in swivel joints. 2 180-degree pivots on the hose ends and a 360 degrees rotating connector at the tap. That setup helps prevent the hose from kinking or getting twisted while you move around. In day-to-day use, the different modes actually come in handy. The stream setting is focused and fast, good for filling things up. The hose mode moves a lot of water quickly, and the shower setting is gentler, perfect when you don't want to blast something with full pressure. It's a small detail, but being able to switch modes on the fly makes a difference when you're trying to get things done. That said, some details are missing. There's no mention of what the connector is made from, how much it weighs, or how much water it can handle under pressure. Still, it does the job without overcomplicating things. It's one of those small upgrades that just make everyday chores feel less annoying. It costs only $20. The Gloria Gardenboy Plus runs on a 230-volt power supply, spinning its tines at around 18,000 rotations per minute. It's about 130 centimeters long, weighs just under 4 kilograms, and works down to a depth of 8 centimeters. The tines are hardened steel and move in a counter-oscillating pattern to loosen soil effectively. It's designed with 2 handles, one of them height adjustable to give better grip. What makes this tool different is how well it handles the little things that add up in garden work. It trims edges cleanly, breaks up hard patches of soil, crumbles the surface for seeding, pulls up weeds completely, and stirs the soil to keep it active. All of that without needing much physical effort. You plug it in, guide it where it needs to go, and let the motion of the tines do most of the work. It's especially useful in flower beds, vegetable plots, or around garden borders, places where big machines feel like overkill. Its size gives you more control, which matters when working around plants you want to keep. The layout of the handles helps keep pressure off your back and wrists, even if you're using it for a while. Setup is simple, and the manual spells out the basics clearly. Wear proper shoes, use both hands, unplug before making any changes. The Swedish design team behind this product describes it as a highly effective log splitter that is both safe and simple for anyone in the family to use. It already holds a patent and has become a top-selling item, with sales surpassing 500,000 units. It can handle logs up to 55 centimeters long, and there's no hard limit on how wide the logs can be. The weight that does the work is 3.5 kilograms, and the whole thing weighs just less than 10 kilograms. Each drop hits with up to 14 metric tons of force, focused right through a sharp wedge that splits wood cleanly along the grain. You don't swing anything, just raise and drop the weight along a fixed guide. It mounts into a stump using a pre-drilled hole, which keeps everything stable. There's no aiming, no guessing, no flying metal. It's easy, repetitive, and physical. You don't need to maintain it much, and it doesn't take up a lot of space when you're done. People who use it keep coming back to the same points. It feels safe, it works well, and it's easy to get the hang of. It won't break records for speed, but it turns a tough chore into something you can actually look forward to. No engine noise, no swinging axes, just you, some wood, and a rhythm that feels right. You will have to pay $127 for it. Most robotic mowers still need boundary wires and regular oversight. This one doesn't. Instead, it uses a smart mix of GPS and AI-powered vision to find its way around the lawn. It can map and maintain areas up to 5,000 square meters on its own. Even under trees or in areas with weak signals, its AI chip keeps it on track, recognizing where to mow and what to avoid. The mower uses a dual-disc system with a 40 centimeters cutting width, driven by 165-watt motors strong enough to get through tough or wet grass. Cutting height is adjustable, 2.2 to 4 inches. It doesn't struggle on hills either, thanks to all-wheel drive, wide tires, and a suspension that adapts to the ground. It can handle slopes around 38 degrees and roll over obstacles up to 8 centimeters high. Its roll mode lets it trim right up to walls, stopping less than 5 centimeters away. Powered by a 15 ampere-hour battery, it covers large areas on a single charge. Depending on the model, nearly 3 acres per charge. The app gives full control, set mowing zones, up to 60 or even 100, Block off things like pools or garden beds, adjust height and speed, schedule mowing sessions, and track it live with GPS. If it ever leaves the yard, GPS tracking and user verification help prevent theft. It even works with AirTags. Its sleek race car look isn't just for show. It's designed to stay low, move well on rough ground, and handle the job without needing constant attention. Of course, the model is not cheap. It costs about $1,200. This weeding trowel is made for one thing: getting weeds out by the root. It uses a pair of sharp, V-shaped blades that dig deep into the soil and pull up stubborn ones like dandelions. The handle is soft and slightly angled to keep your grip easy, and it's designed so you can use it while standing. No kneeling required. That's a big plus if your back isn't a fan of long sessions in the garden. The steel body has a Duraplast coating that helps keep dirt from sticking and slows down rust over time. There's also a simple ejector mechanism that pops the weed off the blades once it's out. No need to grab it with your hands or stop to clean the tool between pulls. In use, the trowel feels like it was made by someone who actually spends time in the garden. The blades go exactly where you aim them. They're narrow and sharp enough to reach roots without tearing up everything around them. It doesn't take much force, just press, twist, and pull. The handle padding gives a bit of cushion, and that angled tip helps you keep control when the ground fights back. The price is $42. Besides having a beautiful lawn, if your land also includes seed beds, you'll find this seeder especially useful. It lets you work on 12 rows at the same time. It works across a bed about 75 to 80 centimeters wide. Row spacing is easy to change, from as close as 5 centimeters for dense crops like arugula to 70 centimeters for larger plants. The hopper feeds seeds to a central rotating axle, dropping them one at a time through the chosen disc. It runs best at a steady walking pace of 1 to 3 kilometers per hour. Up front, a cage roller breaks up clumps in the soil, while a rear roller presses the seeds into the ground for firm contact. Swapping discs, tweaking depth, or changing the number of rows takes just minutes. While it's ideal for greens and small seeded vegetables, careful adjustments make it work well for similar crops too. Out in the field, the first thing that stands out is how evenly it places each seed. That consistency means less waste and less time thinning later. The ability to switch from a single row setup to a multi-row layout makes it easy to move between different crops and planting styles. Walking speed is all it takes to keep rows neat and spacing accurate, and there's no sense of rushing or losing control. The rollers do more than just tidy the bed. The front one breaks up the surface, giving the seeds a better place to land, while the back one presses them in just right for even germination. Together, they help create beds that sprout evenly and predictably. However, the tool is not cheap. Its price is $1,357. Weighing in at 2.2 kilograms, the Top Keeper is a scarifier attachment for brush cutters that cut through the layers of mess that build up on turf and bring the surface back to life. It connects easily to most brush cutter models, no extra gear needed. It also comes with a spare spring kit, with 16 left and 16 right springs, so replacing worn parts is quick and doesn't interrupt the job for long. This isn't the kind of tool that just scratches the surface. It reaches deep into compacted synthetic turf and natural grass alike, pulling up the stuff that slows drainage, kills growth, and makes fields look tired. The added weight isn't there by accident. It gives the tool just enough downward force to let the springs do their job without the user having to push harder. AGP doesn't list the exact materials used, but the company's track record suggests they didn't cut corners. The springs aren't just an add-on. They're the main part, helping clear out layers that regular tools leave behind. AGP's been in this game since 1997, and it shows. The Top Keeper is part of a broader line of tools designed for people who work outside and need gear that can keep up. The attachment is $513, and an additional set of springs costs another $25. The story behind COUTALE tying tool adds to its appeal. Philippe Bernet, a winemaker from France, designed it after getting fed up with electric tying machines that broke down or constantly needed recharging. His answer was to strip the process back to pure mechanics. No electronics, nothing to fail, while keeping the speed and precision needed in a vineyard. The biodegradable wire option also means growers can reduce plastic waste. This vine tying tool is entirely manual, with no batteries, motors, or electronics to slow things down. The jaws open to 4 centimeters, comfortably handling vegetation up to about 35 millimeters thick, and it finishes a tie in less than 1.5 seconds. Each 85-meter spool, available in biodegradable or transparent plastic, produces around 1,000 ties, each one strong enough to hold 8 to 10 kilograms. Using it is simple. Load a spool, place the vine or branch in the jaw, and squeeze the handle. The 4-stroke mechanism wraps and secures the tie without choking the plant, so the growth isn't hindered. A quick pull away, and you're ready for the next tie. Once you get into a rhythm, it's easy to cover hundreds of plants in a day. The tool comes in at around $395, with replacement spools at about $3 each. This one is a compact tool that takes the Keep's everyday blades in good shape. There are 3 separate slots, each shaped to handle a specific job. One for pruners and loppers, one for heavier blades like axes, hatchets and kitchen knives, and one for scissors or shears. The sharpening edges are made from tungsten carbide, a material known for staying sharp itself and holding up well over repeated use. Its size makes it easy to tuck away in a drawer or toolbox, so it's always within reach. The sharpening angles are already set, so there's no need to guess how to position the blade. Each slot guides the tool into the right place, giving a consistent and even edge. Using it is simple. For pruners and loppers, open the blades fully and draw them through the right slot from base to tip, keeping steady pressure until the cut feels clean again. Axes, hatchets, and knives slide through their own slot, moving from back to front or top to bottom in smooth strokes. Scissors and shears are placed flat on a firm surface, and then the blade is pulled through its slot from base to tip with even pressure. The price is $32. A growing trend among small businesses is turning this idea into a hobby with real potential. The innovation is quickly gaining popularity. Seeds wrapped inside a ribbon. Even though the setup is simple, this technique can multiply the speed of seed germination several times over. In one smooth motion, its sharp-edged foot opens a slim line in the soil, drops in an 8 mm wide biodegradable film tape with seeds already spaced out, covers it over, and presses it down so the seeds make solid contact with the earth. Out of the box, it plants at a depth of 2 centimeters, but you can adjust it anywhere from 1 to 3 centimeters depending on what you're growing or the condition of the soil. Newer models come with row markers set at 25 centimeters apart, which can be widened to 50. If you've got an older one, it can still be fitted with markers. The frame resists rust, rinses clean underwater, and works with seed tapes ranging from 3 to 60 meters. The tape itself is clever. It dissolves once it touches damp soil, leaving each seed exactly where it should be. Some tapes pair quick sprouting plants, like radishes, with slower starters, like carrots, so you can spot your rows early and get ahead on weeding. Digging holes for bulbs and seedlings usually means getting your hands dirty, crouching for too long, and wrestling with uneven patches of soil. The Dirtsnatcher offers a smarter way to get it done. It's about 11 inches long, with a width of 3 to 3.5 inches, and it pulls out a tidy 3-inch plug from the ground, perfect for most bulbs. The main body is made from solid plastic, while the blades are nickel-coated steel. Inside, there's a spring mechanism that does most of the work for you. The upgraded version, known as the V2, also includes teeth around the edge to break through harder soil. Here's how it works. Press the tool into the ground, pull up on the slide handle, and it lifts out a plug of soil. Drop your bulb in the hole, release the slide, and the soil drops right back in. Gardening today isn't just about watering plants and pushing a mower. It's about control, timing, and working with the environment. The GARDENA Smart System brings all of that together in one connected setup, letting users manage everything from lawn care to irrigation through a single app. At the heart of it is the Smart Gateway. It links all devices to your home network, either through Wi-Fi or a direct cable connection. From there, the system branches out. The Seleno robotic mowers come in several versions. The Seleno Free doesn't need boundary wires. Instead, it uses a satellite-guided system that knows exactly where it's going. It can handle lawns up to 1,200 square meters and offers features like frost protection, pin security, and precise edge trimming, all controllable from your phone. The Seleno Pro and Max models do use boundary wires, but come with the same smart functions. For watering, the Smart Water Control manages up to 6 cycles a day, running from 1 minute to 10 hours. It runs wirelessly over about 100 meters. The Smart Sensor keeps track of how wet or dry the soil is, light levels and temperature, helping the system adjust watering to the garden's actual needs. The Smart Irrigation Control lets you run up to 6 different watering zones independently. There's also a smart pump that can pull from rainwater tanks or wells, and a smart power adapter to turn other electric tools on and off through the app. Everything runs through the app, which supports scheduling, weather syncing, and voice controls. If you've ever spent time tidying up the yard, you know how much easier it feels when you've got the right tool in hand. One that really stands out is a modular rake. It's not like the usual kind you've probably used before. This one comes apart and goes back together in minutes, so you can switch it up depending on what the garden needs. And at just $35, it won't put a dent in your wallet, which is always nice. What makes it special is the click-on system. You start with a 7-inch head, and then you can snap on 2 extra sections. Suddenly, your rake is much wider and ready to scoop up big piles of leaves. But when you want something more precise, like cleaning between plants, you just take the extra pieces off and it's back to a slimmer size. The handle is another thoughtful touch. It stretches from 50 to 70 inches, so you can adjust it to your height. Sometimes grass just refuses to grow. That's where Hydro Mousse comes in handy. It offers a different way to fix bare spots. Instead of digging or manually spreading seed, this system lets you spray it on, like you're watering the lawn. It attaches to a regular garden hose, and with a turn of the dial, you control how much seed gets laid down, either a light touch or a heavier coating. The setup is simple. The kit comes with a spray nozzle, a chamber for the formula, and a seed blend designed for common lawn issues. The full unit weighs about 8 ounces, holds 2 fluid ounces of formula, and measures roughly 5 by 9 by 9 inches. The seed mix is a combination of 4 types: tall fescue, perennial ryegrass, hard fescue, and Kentucky bluegrass. One standard kit covers up to 100 square feet for spot repairs, or about 50 square feet if you're treating a larger area. Refills are available and can stretch to 200 square feet. When sprayed, the formula turns a bright green, clearly marking where seed has already been applied. Helpful if you've missed a spot. Once on the ground, it helps the seed stay in place and help it to take root. Most people see grass starting to grow in about 1 to 2 weeks, as long as they keep up with watering 2 or 3 times a day. For more, it's safe for kids and pets once it's dry, and works on different types of soil in both sun and shade. At 36.5 inches long, with a sweeping path of 22.5 inches, this attachment carries a solid feel at 11 pounds. It's 10 rubber fins, each just over 1.5 inches tall, bend and flex over grass, rather than tearing it up, but still grip enough to push debris where it needs to go. Made to fit past power heads, it connects into a single system, so there's no need for a separate engine just for sweeping. The fins spin and skim the ground in smooth, even passes, moving rocks, mulch, pine needles, cones, acorns, and sand without scraping or gouging the surface. It's especially helpful on lawns, sports fields, or any spot where keeping grass intact matters. The 22.5-inch swath means you can cover a lot of ground in a short time, but the flexible paddles also work well around flower beds, edging, or bumpy areas. Its weight keeps it pressed to the surface, so it actually picks up what it touches, but it's still manageable for longer jobs. Because it's part of the pass system, switching from trimming to sweeping takes only a few minutes. One power head can run multiple tools, which is a practical setup if you like keeping gear simple but effective. It doesn't come cheap. One attachment costs about $300. Is this price justified, or is it better to do it the old-fashioned way? Let us know in the comment section below. No pumping, no batteries. The EzySpray connects straight to your garden hose and uses water pressure to do the work for you, so you can spray from start to finish without stopping. It holds up to 3 liters and weighs about 1 kilo when empty, which makes it easy to carry. The setup includes a long 118 centimeters metal spray wand, a dual-end hose, and a nozzle that gives you 4 spray patterns to choose from: jet, cone, shower, and mist. It hooks up to a standard 12mm hose fitting, but can be switched to 18mm if needed. Once the water's running, a pressure gauge lets you keep an eye on it, and if things get too high, a release valve kicks in automatically. There's also a double check valve to stop any water from flowing backward. You control the spray with a trigger, and switching patterns is as simple as turning the orange ring on the nozzle. If you're adding fertilizer or any treatments, the handle twists off so you can mix them in before filling. For thicker solutions, there's a plunger to help get things moving. After you're done, just rinse it out with clean water, especially if you've used any chemicals, and store it empty, out of the sun. If it sits for a while and loses pressure, you can pump it back up using the built-in Schroeder valve, like on a bike tire. Some users have run into issues with fittings or seals, usually from over-tightening or incorrect setup. But with a bit of care, this sprayer handles everyday garden jobs with a lot less effort. Next one picks up on movement and body heat from as far as 35 feet away, using a passive infrared sensor with a field of view between 105 and 120 degrees, depending on the model. Once triggered, it fires off a short burst of water, just enough to startle, not soak. That burst lasts around 3 seconds and reaches up to 35 feet, using only about half a liter of water each time. One 9-volt battery keeps it running for 4 to 6 months. or roughly 3,000 sprays. The setup includes a plastic post, a metal sprinkler head, and a valve that shuts off automatically if the battery runs out. Units can be linked to cover more ground, and there's a dial to adjust how sensitive it is to movement. To install, just connect it to a standard garden hose and anchor it into the ground with the included stake. It stands about 17 to 24 inches tall. This sprinkler doesn't rely on chemicals or fences to keep animals out. Instead, it uses surprise. The quick spray is enough to make deer, raccoons, rabbits, squirrels, cats, geese, or herons think twice about coming back. The price is $45. Sometimes the best tools don't come with bells and whistles, they just work. That's the case with the Strongway drum spike aerators. Offered in 36-inch and 60-inch models, these machines dig into compacted soil and help lawns breathe again. Both models use a 14-inch steel drum lined with 3-inch spikes. The 36-inch version has 78 spikes and can hold up to 24 gallons of added weight. The 60-inch version steps it up with 126 spikes and a 40-gallon drum, weighing about 192 pounds when empty. Fill the drum with water or sand, and the spikes push deeper into the ground, usually between 2.5 and 2.75 inches, depending on the soil. These aerators aren't pushed by hand. They're meant to be towed behind a lawn tractor, ATV, or utility vehicle. The 36-inch model is easier to handle in smaller yards, while the 60-inch option is meant for wide open spaces. If the lawn's mowed and lightly watered ahead of time, the job goes smoother and puts less strain on the machine. Running slightly overlapping rows ensures no patch gets missed. After aerating, a bit of fertilizer or watering helps the lawn take full advantage of the open soil. Growver weighs just 4.3 kilograms and keeps things simple by design. Most of its parts are 3D printed, easy to assemble and made from everyday materials. It runs on a quiet 12-volt motor built for lawn surfaces and connects through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth with controls available through a web interface, a mobile app, or even direct integration with Raspberry Pi or Arduino using. When it needs more water, it drives itself to a refill station. No electronics involved, just a float valve doing its job. It can be controlled manually, follow set boundaries, or stick to remote commands via phone. On a full run, it covers around 0.16 acres in 6 hours. What really makes Growver interesting is how it decides where to water. Instead of spraying everything equally, it senses where the lawn is actually dry and adjusts as it moves. A perimeter wire helps it stay within set areas, and its route changes based on what the sensors pick up. Everything about it is open source. The full mechanical design is available in Fusion 3.6.0, and the electronics are open for anyone to modify or experiment with. Since its first prototypes, Growver has been shared publicly, videos, blog posts, and even a spot on a TV pitch show. A Kickstarter campaign followed, but missed its goal, partly because people were expecting something fully autonomous. Still, development didn't stop. The team is steadily improving navigation, fine-tuning sensors, and making it more adaptable. How practical is it when a vacuum cleaner automatically rolls up its own cord? So why not bring that same idea to the garden hose? This is exactly what an automatic hose reel does. A device that, according to the manufacturer, can turn watering into a pleasant experience. The engineers have carefully considered every detail. The horizontal drum works with a 360-degree swivel base, so the hose can be pulled in any direction without the reel wobbling or toppling over. A small pedal near the base locks the rotation when you want it fixed in place. making it steady for watering from different spots. Depending on the hose size, it can hold up to 50 meters of a 13 millimeters hose. Most sets come with a 20 meters outlet hose and a 7 meters inlet hose, giving you around 27 meters of usable reach, and it handles up to about 6 bar of pressure. Getting it around the garden is easy thanks to its wheeled trolley and padded feet, along with a telescopic handle that adjusts between 60 to 80 centimeters. There are 2 styles to choose from. A manual oscillator version with a foldable crank that guides the hose evenly as you wind it back, and an automatic version where a spring mechanism does most of the rewinding for you. You just guide it in. A built-in storage compartment keeps all the small parts in one place. When using it, the stability stands out immediately. The horizontal layout stops the frustrating tipping that happens with some reels, and the swivel base makes it easy to water in different directions without shifting the whole unit. Trimming branches can feel like real hard work, almost torture, especially if the only tool you've got is a simple handsaw. To make the job quicker and safer, it's worth considering a cordless pruner, such as this Ryobi model. Instead of relying purely on muscle, it blends the feel of a traditional lopper with the power of a motor, turning branch cutting into something far less tiring. Running on Ryobi's 18-volt battery systems, the same one used across more than 200 tools, it can handle branches up to 3 centimeters in softwood and 2 in hardwood, finishing each cut in about 3 seconds. Its 85 centimeters length helps you reach higher spots, and at 1.93 kilograms, it's easy enough to keep steady for longer periods. On a 5 ampere-hour battery, you can expect around 250 full-capacity cuts, while the biggest batteries stretch that to well over 1,000 on smaller branches. The bypass cutting mechanism leaves a clean finish, which is better for plant health. Soft grip handles take the edge off longer sessions, and a handy branch hook lets you brace the tool while you cut, taking strain off your arms. It's well balanced, so whether you're reaching up into a tree or working close to the ground, it feels steady. Once you start using it, the difference is clear. Thicker branches that would normally mean a few forceful squeezes are handled with ease, and the steady 3-second cutting cycle keeps you from rushing, while still getting through the work faster than with manual tools. The cost is about $220. Here's another Ryobi tool, a versatile digging helper. It's not only handy for garden work, but it also makes setting fence posts much simpler. It runs on a brushless 18-volt motor that delivers steady power to finish all the jobs needed. The auger can drill holes up to 15 centimeters across, which is just right for planting or putting in smaller fence posts. At 6 kilograms, it has a bit of heft, and with a 5.0 ampere-hour battery, it can get through around 30 holes before needing a swap. One of its standout features is the electronic anti-kickback system. If the auger catches on a root or a rock, the motor stops instantly to prevent it from wrenching out of your hands. It offers 3 modes: forward, reverse, and kick back off, with the safety mode being the smartest option in most cases. Out in the soil, it tackles clay, sand, and looser ground, saving your back from the strain of digging by hand. It's handy for jobs like planting shrubs or trees, setting up posts, or installing a mailbox or clothesline. People who've tried it often mention how quickly it gets through the ground and how much effort it saves. But you'll have to pay $300 to save time and effort. Covering the ground inside greenhouses is a common agricultural practice used worldwide. Farmers rely on this method because it provides several important benefits. The special covering material helps reduce water loss by limiting evaporation from the soil. It also allows the ground to heat more efficiently and plays a big role in suppressing weed growth. Still, this technology has one drawback. When a large area is covered, planting seedlings becomes less convenient. Farmers used to cut the planting holes manually, which was time-consuming and labor-intensive. However, today, the process is much faster thanks to specialized tools like the one shown on the screen. With such equipment, the workflow is significantly accelerated, saving both time and effort. The equipment used is a gas burner fitted with a round metal nozzle at its tip. When activated, the flame quickly creates a smooth circular opening in the covering material. The operator remains in a relaxed standing position and is able to carry out the task while moving forward at a slow, steady walking pace. Plowing the soil at the right time not only makes it looser and easier to work with, but also helps to destroy weaker weeds. To make this process easier, different types of plows are used. This modern moldboard plow takes on this first, crucial step in farming with a set of carefully arranged parts that works together to open and turn the soil. The beam and hitch link it securely to the tractor, while the frog frame holds the moldboard, share, and landside, pieces that can be swapped out individually when they wear down. Up front, the coulter slices vertically, usually around 7 inches deep, clearing the way for the share, which cuts horizontally to lift a section of soil. The moldboard then flips this slice over, burying plant debris and preparing the seedbed. Shares come in different depths, regular, deep, and double deep, so farmers can adapt to varying soil types. Supporting pieces like the vertical regulator, foreshare, runner, shin, trashboard, and stilts help keep the work steady and the furrows clean. Not every plow works the same way. The moldboard plow, often called the turn plow, is known for loosening and inverting the soil, which helps with aeration and weed control. Single-sided versions work in one direction, while turn rest and reversible designs make it easier to plow back and forth. Riding plows and multiple furrow models speed things up by allowing a seated operator to work with several blades at once. The heavy moldboard plow has roots in Han China, but in Europe it evolved through designs like the Rotherham swing plow, Robert Ransom's self-sharpening castings, and John Deere's steel models.